I mean, you had the, courage to ask this girl out, which I'm curious. Where was this, and how did you get the courage to do it? Which, I think, you mentioned earlier that, like having that courage led you to like having that, overcoming the fear of failure. I would even say that if you ask a girl out, like people say like, oh, like I want to change the world or whatever. But if you're able to ask someone out, then you'll definitely be able to change the world, because if you can do that, you'll definitely be able to talk to investors or raise your hand in the class or whatever.
It's a great way to look at it.
So before we get to that idea, I'm curious, where was this?
Sure. Well, I mean, what was like 5'9", 145 pounds. I think that's probably what I was as a freshman.
Okay.
I had my braces out in high school, probably senior year, but I had glasses, which is to say I wasn't the starting quarterback on the football team. Let's put it that way.
Sure.
I remember walks after class. To me, I have like, first this, then this. I mean, like there's a whole algorithmic roadmap that I've drawn out on my whiteboard. To the person you're asking, it's just live. I mean, they're just like, after class, I remember like walking away from the quad toward out of my way because I'm at Bromley and there, but I'm just walking. I really liked, I think it was like, I was a mama's boy, and I was very, I had a great relationship with my parents. To just be dropped off in a town and live on my own where I'd never cooked a meal for myself. Jolting, sure, but really exciting. In Champaign, Urbana, as you guys are aware, Champaign, that local ordinance that allows 19 and 20-year-olds to enter into an adult setting that is there to be very social, particularly if you're not of age to drink, is could be scary, could be outside of your comfort zone, but you're checking a lot of boxes as to learning and understanding, and conversations are fast and there's a ton of different groups, and it's a great learning ground for social interaction. And I can remember their names. I was definitely rejected, of course, on some occasions. The most horrifying part was when they accepted, because now I got to figure out like, oh shit, now what? Right. All of that led to just the confidence of being able to present to investors, as an attorney, I have a law firm. We have lawyers. My firm has lawyers and lobbyists. We're engaged with talking to politicians. We're convincing them to, whether it's shaping policy or looking at infrastructure needs. And, you have to be able to speak passionately, and the intimacy or romanticism, to use your word, of engaging conversation can't be faked. And if it can, it won't be forever. Eventually, it will show through that you're seeking simply a means to an end, as opposed to the passion of the subject. Well, consider when asking someone out on a date, your subject is you. And the prospect of, having a great time. You're never asking anyone out if they'd want to go out and be miserable. That's not your ask. You're saying, hey, do you want to have a really fun time? Or, do you want to laugh and smile and talk about things that might interest us? That sounds wonderful. And you're doing so with the passion of what your product is, and your product is yourself. And I understood that then through experience. I could tell you it's the same today. the disingenuous, the disingenuous date is not one that ends up in however dates are supposed to end up. So I don't know what you lose by being bold in college. I know what you lose by not paying attention in class. I know what you lose by not going to class, regardless of how well you did on the previous exam. I know what you lose by dressing in pajamas all the time. I know what you really could lose in the opportunities available at U of I by letting those 4 years go without putting yourself in terrifyingly awkward and uncomfortable positions. It's got to be part of it because failure is welcomed here. Right? There is hardly any consequence. Even a bad grade can be made up. After college, it's a little bit different. And you're not given as much freedom, or I shouldn't say freedom, you're not given as many chances or as much rope, so to speak, to run. So, I obviously believe that so much that I extended my stay here for a few extra years. And I really sought out, for me, I took out I had to take out student loans, but I was making money. So there wasn't this sense of urgency to have to go start my career. And if I could do so while continuing to learn, I mean, I'd really get down on myself if I missed class. Just because I understood, like, it's just, and hardly when you miss a class or skip a class, whatever you did in that 50 minutes wasn't great. I mean, what'd you really do? I mean, you watched another episode of Wednesday on Netflix. So, I just, and you make the most of your time, and so long as you understand that, and just so long as you go into it, knowing that failure is present. It's definitely one of the multiple choice possibilities in every sort of problem we seek to solve. So that once you accept that, it shouldn't be intimidating at all. Easier said than done, I suppose. But no? Yes? Did I lose you like 8 sentences ago?
No,
it's just me talking.
No, I agree. Like, it's very easier, like much easier said than done, because